Hello and welcome. On behalf of the Warren Centre at the University of Sydney, I'm thrilled to kick off excuse me, our 2025 program with this exciting webinar. Today, we're joined by participants from last year's Ron Johnston Awards, and we'll give you a sneak peek into what's in store for you this year. A quick housekeeping note, this webinar is being recorded. If you have questions, drop them in the Q&A. They'll remain anonymous until answered, and we'll do our best to address as many as possible at the end. Now, let's start with a question. What if engineering wasn't just about innovation, but about impact? Imagine a world where every circuit, every line of code, every blueprint, every breakthrough contributes to solving real-world societal challenges. That's the essence of humanitarian engineering, applying technology and design to strengthen communities, like building climate resilience and advancing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. This is your chance to be a part of that movement. The Humanitarian Innovation Hackathon is a high-energy, hands-on, 48-hour challenge where you'll collaborate, innovate, and push the boundaries of engineering to create solutions that truly matter. More in that in just a moment. Before we dive in, let us acknowledge the traditional owners of Australia. I'm speaking to you from the land of the Wallumattagal clan of the Darug Nation. Their deep knowledge of land, water, and sustainable systems is a powerful reminder that the most impactful solutions come from working in harmony with our environment and with each other. I further acknowledge the traditional owners of the country that you're on and pay respects to elders past and present, and recognise that true innovation is built on the same respect, learning, and collaboration of traditional wisdom. The Humanitarian Engineering Hub at the Warren Centre is where technology meets purpose. It's a catalyst for change, and what I really love is that it brings together engineers, researchers, and industry leaders in a melting pot of diverse thinking to develop those real-world solutions for social and environmental challenges. From disaster resilience to clean energy access, the Hub drives projects that help propel society forward. So if you're a uni student ready to hack for good and looking to drive meaningful change, this is your moment. So now I'm going to hand you over to John and Tanil for more of the nitty-gritty details of the Humanitarian Innovation Hackathon for 2025.
Wow, Mel, I actually just want to say that I'm going to go hands down and say that's the best intro that we've had for a webinar ever. So seriously, thank you so much for the amazing work that you put into that intro. It was so great. Yes, so John and I are going to take you through some of the nitty-gritty kind of, I guess, operational things with the hackathon. First, let me introduce myself. I am Tanil, actually own a company called The Big Creative. I think looking at everyone on the webinar today, I'm like the oldest person here. I was here when it started. I started the initial concept and the brand and the kind of, the working kind of, working groups to understand how it was going to work within the Australian landscape and all that sort of stuff. And then we brought it to life in 2019. So it's really special for me. I've been here since the beginning. And I think the only other person that you'll see throughout the hackathon experience that's been here since 2019 would be Ashley, who will be our host for the hackathon weekend. So just before I get started, I'll share a little presentation and just give you guys all a little bit of an overview of what the Humanitarian Innovation Hackathon is all about. Just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Yay, good job, everyone. Okay, so the Humanitarian Innovation Hackathon is a weekend-long hybrid event, and it's designed for the university students around the country and around the world, actually, to work collaboratively in teams to create technology-driven solutions for the most pressing humanitarian challenges. So again, as I said, we started in 2019, and the Humanitarian Innovation Hackathon has seen hundreds and hundreds of students address significant topics, including climate change, induced population displacement, educating for the future, aiding island communities, and the provision of clean water. So just to give you a little snapshot of how that actually works in a contextual kind of form, firstly, on Hackathon weekend, we set up what's called Hack Live Studios. This is like a weekend-long streaming experience that we set up in Sydney. This year, it's going to be set up again at the Sydney Knowledge Hub, and it's set up from Friday afternoon, and it runs all the way through the Hackathon weekend right up until Sunday. So it's basically like a 56-hour stream. If we don't have someone telling you about some amazing thing that's happened over the weekend, we do island cams and really fun talks and other really cool things along the weekend just to keep you super inspired. But if you're going to join us from any part of the country or any part of the world, this is how you connect to us remotely. For anyone that is fortunate enough to be in Sydney, we actually have a hacking facility again in Sydney. It's run out of the Sydney Knowledge Hub again this year. which is within the Sydney University. And that's a really wonderful experience for anyone that's actually within the Sydney landscape or feels like they want to travel to Sydney to do a more face-to-face hackathon weekend experience. So I think in a nutshell, what I might do quickly is just show you guys the highlights from last year so you can get a real good sense of what it actually looks like.
Welcome to the 2024 Humanitarian Innovation Hackathon.
I am the ancient heart, the keeper of the flame. I am the rock, I am the
Your turn. Oh, keep it. Good morning. Welcome to day 2 of the Humanitarian Innovation Hackathon. We're in the last 10 minutes now of preparing your submissions for the Humanitarian Innovation Hackathon 2024. It's officially closed now. Judges are reviewing the video submissions. I'm excited to tell you that we're down to the last finalists. Congratulations to all the finalists. We welcome you to come back and join us on Monday, 19th of August. That's a wrap on 2024.
Yay, that's so cool. Always brings back such good fond memories from us. So just flipping back over to the presentation, just some operational things. So we're actually open to all university students across Australia, the New Zealand region and the Pacific Islands as well. So participants are basically throughout the weekend asked to identify practical solutions for real and current problems from an existing international humanitarian response context. So we run over a weekend, and this year it's going to be the 18th of July to the 20th of July. We generally start on Friday afternoon with a super fun welcome ceremony. There's really fun things to do in your team to get to know your teammates and sort of have a bit of fun that night. And then Saturday and Sunday tends to be pretty hackathon intense periods. And then we wrap up on a Sunday with a final show. We've got some really great prizes again this year. First prize is going to be $5,000. That's a team prize. So it's not per person because that'd be a little bit crazy for us. Second place is $3,000. And then the third place prize is $1,000. So the Humanitarian Innovation Awards, just as a little bit of a kind of understanding of what that's kind of come to, the Warren Centre and Professor Ron Johnson sort of co-collaborated this program many years ago. But Professor Ron Johnson actually gave us a really rather large financial endowment to be able to produce all these awards. So they've been named in his honour. And even part of the sort of prize landscape and things like that, we have beautiful sort of medallions with his wonderful face on them. And you'll see him throughout the whole weekend come and do talks and things like that with all of the students. He's a really important piece of the award program. And I'm sure you'll find some of the really, wonderful things that he says along the weekend really inspiring and impactful. So you'll see and hear a lot from him over the weekend. I'm not going to go into this in too much detail, but as I did say earlier on in the presentation, we did start in 2019. So just a little bit of a snapshot of our history over that time period. But each year we just grow. So like the first year, I think we had like, 50 or 60 students. And then, as we progress these years on years, we can get up to 200 or 300 and sometimes even 400 pre-registrations. So it's growing with each year, which is super exciting. So we can only see what's going to happen for 2025. This is my final thing, and I just want to leave you with this thought too. I find that sometimes when we do these programs, I'm continually trying to communicate to people that this is a really big activation for all universities across Australia, if not within that Pacific Islands region. And so this year we wanted to just put together a little bit of a snapshot of all the universities that are actually engaged in this program. And to see it on paper is just huge. I know that we tend to, kind of have a lot within the Australian landscape, but we're growing all of those international universities year on year. John, over to you.
Thank you, Tennille. Hi, everyone. My name is John. I'm one of the organisers for the hackathon on behalf of the University of Sydney and the Warren Centre. And we'll see you face to face if you come in July. Otherwise, you'll only ever see me online. Thanks, Tennille, for that great intro and explanation of what happened last year. And just going to get around to talking about what's coming up this particular year. We have a professor of humanitarian engineering at the University of Sydney named Jackie Thomas. She's unable to join us today, but she put together a quick recording where she talks about the challenges and humanitarian engineering in general and the idea behind the hackathon's challenge goals. So I'll just share that with you now, and then we'll come back to this as soon as I learn how to use Zoom.
The hackathon event was designed to be accessible to all students, engineering or not, and to really focus on achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. I'd really like to say that we're opening people's eyes to what humanitarian engineering is, and I think more importantly, how students can use their skills, whether they're engineering skills or not, to tackle some of the world's most challenging problems. But these particular 3 challenges, the overarching theme this year was utilising digital technologies to help achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Digital technologies have really transformed our society in terms of, people having access to banking for the first time via their mobile phones, or women's groups having platforms to raise certain issues that perhaps they couldn't raise before. So Sydney University is really proud to be the first university in Australia to offer the humanitarian engineering major. And I think the Warren Centre has actually done a really good job of raising the profile of humanitarian engineering at the University of Sydney. So you can see we've got education and outreach working hand in hand in this initiative, and we hope it can continue in some form into the future.
To get that little cadence in at the end there. So that's Jackie. She'll be writing the challenges for this year's hackathon. What are those challenges going to be? You will find out on the Friday night of the hackathon. We generally don't reveal it until everyone's there and at the starting line getting ready to go. The hackathon, as you know, runs over the weekend of the Friday night to the Sunday. We have mentors who will be coming to help over the weekend. They don't really start until Saturday. So you've got about 42 hours straight from Friday night, and the deadline to submit is midday on Sunday. You are allowed to sleep. Highly encourage sleep. We've had students sending emails at 3 a.m. on Saturday morning going, what do we do now? And it's like, I'm not answering that until the morning. Go to sleep. It's not as intense as you think it is. It's all about solving problems, not creating problems through lack of sleep. We've got our first speaker I'd like to introduce is Mohammed Jadeh, and he is a third-year student at the University of Sydney studying engineering and computer science. And he was on the organising team and the running team for the hackathon last year. You would have seen him in the highlights video there. He helped us out over the whole weekend, and he was an invaluable member of the team. And I believe he's coming back for 2025. And I just wanted to have him on today and ask him a few questions about his experience for the weekend. And before we get to Mohammed, we'll quickly play this explainer about what is the hackathon. I know we've kind of covered it pretty succinctly already, but it's on my list, so we're going to use it.
Welcome to the Humanitarian Innovation Hackathon. The Warren Centre is proud to host the competition here at the University of Sydney. We have participants joining us this year from every major university across the country, from biomedical engineering through psychology and everything in between. We have law students, economics students, business students, physics students, and even IT students. Such a wide range of talents across a broad range of studies. The innovations are sure to be wonderful. There are thousands of islands across the Pacific that are home to millions of people. While Australia and New Zealand are amongst the 10 highest developed countries, on the UN Human Development Index, 5 countries are officially classified as the least developed countries: Kiribati, Tuvalu, the Solomon Islands, Timor-Leste, and Vanuatu. Every island is different, and Papua New Guinea, Fiji, Samoa, Micronesia, Tonga, the Marshall Islands, Palau, and Nauru all face very diverse challenges. As the people in the region work to improve their lives, they seek not just short-term economic boosts, they seek sustainable development. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, launched in 2015 and are a comprehensive and concise declaration of mankind's aspirations for future development that is balanced and fair. Ahead of the hackathon, you'll be asked to prioritise these themes. Each team will be assigned 2 mentors to support their needs throughout the weekend, and they are there to assist you with anything that you need, any questions and insights. Check out the program, which includes a number of fun diversions to break up screen time, and get ready to settle in for an experience that will change the way that you look at our neighbours on the Pacific Island. Enjoy the hackathon.
Was that you? Was that your voice there, Tennille?
I know, I was just going to say, I'm so sick of hearing my voice over and over and over and over again. 50 times a year. Sounds familiar. But yes, that was the Hackathon Explainer. We obviously do one of those for every year, but generally the region that we focus on is the Pacific Islands region. So all of that information that we had in there around the islands will still be relevant for the 2025 program, but we sometimes customize that a little bit for the year. Just some little things that I don't think that we really kind of, we didn't discuss at this point in time. I just wanted to sort of clarify that what actually happens for team formations. Have you got that on your list to talk about it later, John, or can I just sort of touch on it?
Yeah, well, we were going to do it at the end, but...
Oh, okay, that's okay. We'll talk about it then. Let's just go through.
Okay, well, we'll get around to Mohammed. We're going to ask you a couple of questions. Thanks for joining us today. I'll just ask the question straight out. What was your experience as a student working amongst your other student colleagues at the hackathon last year?
First of all, thank you very much for having me here. The experience was really rewarding because personally, I like to help people, and that opportunity gave me an opportunity to help people in general. Part of my job was allocating students and everyone into groups of 4. And on the first day, it was like around 8 p.m. and we had 4 students who the groups just ditched them. Like, they were just no-shows, ghosts. And then they were just standing around the reception. And so John and I were like, you don't have a group, you don't have a group. And we just joined them all together and they became a really nice group. Like, they stuck around to the end. And it was really nice to see that even though like these 4 people who had never met each other before were able to get along so well and develop a really nice connection.
That's great. What else we got? Have you learned anything? Do you have thoughts about what you've learned about humanitarian engineering from your experience at last year's hackathon?
Going into it, I actually had no idea what humanitarian engineering was. And seeing the students and other people throughout their journey, I was able to realize that there were so many places around the world that actually needed humanitarian engineering, specifically in like solutions to develop, essential data, developing like solutions to develop data processing. And one of those challenges was actually transportation.
Okay, great. Yeah. It's that's a funny thing. The last year's challenges were all about data identification and data collection as an overarching theme, which students didn't find out until the last second. This year's going to be different. Even I don't know what Jackie's got in store for us so far. Depending on how people sign up, maybe we'll let out a few hints leading up to the hackathon. There's no promises. Lastly, do you have any particular advice to students who want to come to this year's hackathon about how to prepare or what to expect, or ways to get through it smoothly?
Sure. First of all, I don't think you don't have to be an engineer to come along to this hackathon. Engineers are essentially people who solve problems. So as long as you're happy to solve some sort of problem, come along. This is a great opportunity to make new friends, network, and have fun in general. Like I saw, like throughout the 3 days, I saw so many groups just like laughing and just having like these small snippets of fun. Also for University of Sydney students, pep hours, definitely go for so that you can claim some pep hours. And lastly, a bit of advice for people that are going into it. I helped John judge, I think, around 20 submissions. And one key theme that seemed to arise was through those submissions, people weren't addressing clearly, like showing us data-driven solutions. Like they created these really good solutions, but they weren't like really showing us that you're collecting data on these solutions. So yeah.
Great. Yeah. So addressing the challenges as they're set out obviously helps something stand out above a cool solution, which is maybe cool on a base level, is what you say.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Thanks, Mohammed. We've got to keep moving on here, but thank you so much for your time. And I know you've got to go to a lecture after this, so you might not be around for the Q&As. So if you do have questions specifically for Mohammed, just write them in the Q&A, and we'll see if we can get to them before he goes, but otherwise we can address them afterwards. But thank you. All right, we're moving on. Our second group, our second guest speakers are Liam and Nick, and these are two members of the winning team from last year's hackathon. They call themselves Sidgong Solutions, and I have to assume that's a joining up of Sydney and Wollongong.
Yep.
Liam and Nick are both from the University of Wollongong. They're two members who aren't here today from the University of Sydney and the University of New South Wales. But I believe you guys all went to high school together?
Yeah, we're all pretty involved with each other.
Yeah, I think that was really cool. We didn't know that at the time. At the awards night, we we're thinking, man, these guys get on really well. Like this team building thing, this hackathon thing, it's really working. And then we, after they won, their high school made a social media post congratulating them, but we went,
that was the tell, I think.
Otherwise, we would never have known. It's not like they told us. It's okay.
Fair enough.
But thanks, guys, for coming along today. Before we ask you some questions, we're going to play your winning entry, if that's okay.
Of course.
This is going to take 5 minutes, so get comfy. And for everyone watching, this is the winning entry from 2024.
The Pacific Island nations lack the adequate infrastructure to protect natural water sources from contamination, risking the proliferation of waterborne diseases. Between 2009 to 2011, an uncontrollable cholera outbreak spread across Papua New Guinea, resulting in 15,000 infections and over 500 deaths. Increased extreme weather events threaten the supply of safe drinking water, further exposing Pacific Island nations. In order to achieve Sustainable Development Goal number 6, populations must have confidence in the safety of their water supply. In order for Pacific Islanders to access guaranteed safe water sources, routine monitoring and testing must be done for contamination and disease. However, routine laboratory-grade testing of every water source is expensive and impractical for developing nations. While community feedback is resourceful, contamination of waterborne diseases, such as cholera, can be difficult to notice until after an outbreak has occurred. Our solution to this issue is a tap nozzle that can be distributed to households and businesses. It's composed of a nozzle attachment with a built-in sediment filter to remove particulates. This nozzle also has a reaction chamber which contains polyclonal antibodies and a colorimetric dye such as tetramethylbenzene. This enables real-time detection of biological contaminants. Users observe changes in the dye's colour to identify potential contamination of their water. Upon noticing a change, users can scan the attached QR code to report the data. All user-reported data is sent to a centralised system which logs and displays points of concern and assists in the development of a response. When addressers first receive their nozzle, they will install it and scan the QR code to set it up. They log their home address and what room the nozzle is in, similar to a Google Home. Next, water passes through the nozzle where large particulates that could damage and interfere with the reaction chamber are removed, and the contaminated water reacts with the polyclonal antibodies and the TMB indicator. The dye then changes colour, instantly making visible that a contamination is present in the water source. The user observes the colour change and reports the contamination via the mobile app by scanning the QR code on the nozzle. The data is published on the app and made visible to everyone, including local health authorities, doctors, and other residents. This data is also stored and triaged based on a prioritative AI system, which assists in the allocation of resources and response based on that data. Mobile response teams would then investigate sources of contamination which are reported. They collect water samples to complete more comprehensive water testing and ensure the addresses nozzles are refilled and working correctly. After this, further action is determined based on the results of the comprehensive water testing. For example, clusters of cholera outbreaks may indicate contamination issues at the water source which supplies all those infected, which can then be addressed. The nozzle itself would be made out of polyethylene terephthalate, either mass-produced and brought into the site of concern, or 3D printed locally using PET filaments. The sediment filter would screw in with a thread on the nozzle, making it easily replaceable. The thread itself would be standardised for the location, but other options may have to be produced to account for all types of water outlets. The refillable reaction chamber makes the nozzle itself a permanent fixture, only requiring refilling of the antibodies and dye, routinely performed by the mobile response teams. Our solution has a range of benefits which make it applicable for a developing nation. It's cost-effective, which means it's designed to be low cost for widespread community adoption. It engages local communities in monitoring their own water quality, empowering them to do their part. It uses real-time reporting to ensure immediate awareness and response to water quality issues, and it also uses enhanced geospatial mapping, where data integration allows for detailed mapping of water quality across regions. This data can be used in predictive analytics to forecast potential water quality issues. Data is recorded from nozzle testing and integrated into geospatial information systems to identify high-risk clusters of infection. Such information enables health authorities to redirect testing, quarantine, and alternative water sources towards high-risk areas. This information also enables authorities to identify and shut down and treat contaminated water sources. The rollout of these nozzles would be funded by a government and not-for-profit partnership, ensuring that there is no cost to the user. This would also ensure stability, scalability, and effective community implementation and education. The reporting app encourages community engagement through self-reporting features, actively involving them in their own well-being. The app also is a hub for educational resources on safe water practices, ensuring a wealth of knowledge and expertise is at the fingertips of the users. Our mobile app provides a user-friendly interface for both users and health officials. The dashboard displays real-time health metrics and trends, facilitating efficient monitoring and response.
I know you guys were at the announcement event. We do the announcement event, by the way, for everyone a month later. On the weekend, we shorten it to a top 10, and then we have a separate panel of esteemed judges who choose the winners. And looking back on your presentation, guys, did you have confidence that it could be a potential winner selected by the judges?
I know personally when I was looking at it and when we submitted everything, I wasn't too confident, especially at that final event where we had the lineup and everyone's videos were being shown. And we were standing there like, oh, these are some really top ideas. Like the caliber of our competition was really high. And that's what I personally didn't feel too confident. But I know that I think with the work our group did, I think through the hard work and all the stuff that we did over the weekend, I think that enabled us to get the first.
Yeah, I think I share off with the same sentiment. We definitely knew, especially going into the competition as well, the level of competition would be very intense. But we knew our productive capacity. We knew what we were capable of. We came from diverse disciplines. We had a rich, diverse knowledge pool we could tap into. We knew how hard we worked towards getting to the position we were. And we knew that in situations like these, we just cannot set limits on ourselves. So I think what we definitely knew was going to be challenging. I think we knew we could do it.
And obviously, you know more about humanitarian engineering now than you did. How have your thoughts and knowledge of humanitarian engineering developed since the hackathon?
I think the same as Mohammed, I personally had not really any idea what humanitarian engineering was like going into it. All I knew about the event really was Casey, who isn't here because he goes to UCID, told us about the event. We were like, awesome, this looks great. We go in kind of not with too much knowledge about it. And I think we came out with a really good understanding of what humanitarian engineering is, why it's necessary specifically, especially with the 3 challenges that were covered on the 2024 weekend. There was such a diverse range of solutions, which I think highlights the diverse range of challenges that are popping up every year. So I think that was definitely highlighted how necessary humanitarian engineering is. And it gave us a good insight into what some of that stuff might look like if we were involved.
Yeah, no, I think I was in the same position as Liam was as well. Humanitarian engineering is a very unique experience. Coming from someone with a pre-med background, I think a lot of my problems, a lot of the questions that were given in class or the exam questions, they're very two-dimensional. You refer back to math, you refer back to the natural laws of science you can depend on. Humanitarian engineering is very, 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 I wouldn't use the word complex. It is complex, but I think the better way to describe it is very multidimensional. There's many areas you got to consider, many different disciplines you have to bring in, many different perspectives. If there's one skill I took away from it is considering cost benefit. I think one of the big things we kept coming back to when we were designing our solution was it practical?
Yeah.
Would it actually work in a real life setting? And I think constantly have to revise back on both the pros and cons of our solutions, the ability to actually implement in a real situation. I think that was the key skill we got away from humanitarian engineering.
100%.
Great, thanks. Yeah, cost benefit is a huge part of what this humanitarian engineering is all about. Do you have any tips or tricks to share for students for this year that aren't trade secrets? Is SIDCon coming?
No, I don't think we have. Yeah, so we're definitely keen on coming back for the 2025 hackathon. The big thing I would take away I would say for students who are looking to get into it this year is try to organize your teams. So we submitted ourselves as a team beforehand. If you have the people to do that, I 100% recommend it, especially if you have diverse backgrounds. So like Nick was saying, like I do engineering, Nick does pre-med, our other member, Harry, does law, our other member, Casey, does computer science. The spread of backgrounds really let us tackle, like Nick was saying, it's such a complex issue, humanitarian engineering, and having all this diverse background where everyone can pitch in on a different aspect, we can have really productive discussions about, what the solution is and consider it from a different angle. Like, for example, if it was just a team of engineers, we'd probably think about it in a very one-dimensional way. But because we have this background of other people and other, what they're doing with their education, we could consider so much more. We could have discussions. Most of our time spent at UCID was just talking about what we're doing and like shutting down ideas, bringing new ones up, et cetera, et cetera. So I 100% recommend, if you have the people to form a team beforehand with the diverse background, absolutely go for that, because that will give you so much more insight into the challenge.
Yeah, I think I double down on my partner saying as well. I really think that it really is useful to have that diverse set of perspectives going into it, particularly because when we were solving our problem, it was really a step-by-step process. It's one thing to actually come up with the engineered technology to use for your solution, right? Then you go, so what's the next step? How are you going to use it? You're collecting data about water testing. Well, what are you going to do with that information? Then we started thinking about, well, perhaps how can, from an epidemiological perspective, that was really tapping in my pre-med background. How can we use some information, perhaps allocate resources to a proportional amount, given the information that we receive, And it was just thinking like that, thinking about different steps of the problem-solving process, that we really realized that we need multiple perspectives going into it.
Yeah, 100%.
Great. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Congratulations on your win for last year. And
thank you very much.
We're looking forward to seeing what you can come up with this year. No pressure. But
no
thank you so much. And we'll move on to thanks guys. We'll move on to our final speaker for today is Dr. Laura Montano from the University of New South Wales. She is an associate lecturer in humanitarian engineering at the School of Civil and Environmental Engineering. And Dr. Montano agreed to join the hackathon last year in the role of what we called a challenge mentor. So we're taking all applications for mentors, by the way. Mentors are professionals, industry experienced people, professors, recently graduated students who care about humanitarian engineering and want to help these student teams achieve everything they're trying to achieve, there's a whole separate process for applying and registering your interests in mentorship, which we'll cover at the end. And Laura volunteered to be a mentor for us, and with her highly expert background in humanitarian engineering, we decided it wouldn't be fair to just give her to one or two teams. It'd be good if she was available, at least to consult with all teams. So she came to the Knowledge Hub in person and made herself available, thankfully. And then we ended up having so many students that she still volunteered to help out a few teams more specifically over the weekend, for which we thank her as well. And so we asked her to come speak today about all of that. Welcome, Laura. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for the invite. We're excited to be here.
Oh, good. Well, I don't have a video to play for you this time. It's probably for the best, considering they're all just going to be full of ads. But I got a couple of questions for you. If you could tell us about your general experience at last year's hackathon as a mentor for your teams and an overall mentor.
Yeah, look, just watching the video, about how was the experience, I think that brings a lot of emotions and inspiration on what is coming, because it's a very nice environment where, everyone is so keen to work towards a solution, and that just itself brings more knowledge and more innovation, and the impact of this is great. You're working towards something that will be very impactful. I think that my overall experience as a mentor is that awarded or rewarding action of receiving a lot of what the students are getting. I am in the privileged position of hearing and trying to get all those great ideas and putting them in the context of how to do this in a way that you will do no harm, or you account for the local knowledge, or you account for something that will be really appropriate and sustainable for the communities you are working for. So, I think that all the ideas, and honestly, going through all the teams that I went, all the ideas were great. There was, there are not silly ideas when you're in a hackathon. It's just you need to refine them. But it's just getting them, listening them, and guiding them through the process to ensure that you will have the most impactful project. And yeah, I think as a mentor is very rewarding to listen all of that. And of course, as an academic, it's great to see where the students are and where are their priorities and what are their thoughts. Just because I think that everything is useful for what I want to do in my future as well.
Oh, great. I'd like to find out your thoughts on the importance of humanitarian engineering in the Pacific Island region specifically.
Look, the Pacific Islands have many islands who are going to be underwater very soon, and they need solutions, or they need some help, because they are under an imminent risk of disappearing. So there is already communities who are under vulnerable conditions, and they don't have resources. So there's plenty of work needed there. In addition, and I think as was mentioned in the video, they are not on track to achieve any of the 2030 SDG goals. So it's plenty of work needed to get them on track, or at least to help them to achieve this. And well, I think that beside all these issues, and I think that happens around the world, but really these communities are just so passionate and so strong. I have had the bless of working with some of those communities, and really they have something very strong and passionate when they have a thing to work on. So it's not about they don't want to overcome the issues. They don't have the resources, or they are lacking something. And if we can get, as engineers or multiple backgrounds, to get a solution that can be resourceful, in a way that is feasible and reliable, why not give that to them? Because they will appreciate that. Of course, saying that is not like we gave the solution and give to them. We need to build that with them. That's very important when we work in a humanitarian engineering context. But it's how we can really, there is plenty of innovation. There is plenty of amazing solutions in the students' brains, that if we can make them real, they will have a really impact in the communities who are in need, and communities who will appreciate, and strong communities that will make that work.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's not always just coming up with solutions, it's about applying the solutions, finding real world situations. Thanks for that. One more question. do you have any particular advice that you would give to students who are thinking of taking part in this year's hackathon?
Yeah, sure. So I think that is basically remember that your solution, and I think that's the two keywords that we always talk in our lectures, is solutions needs to be appropriate and sustainable. You need to design something that is not good based on your knowledge or good for what you think is useful. You're designing for a client, the end user. How do you design that it will align for them, that will do no harm? That's the other thing. I remember last year, so one of the solutions that was great, but had an implication with the society at some point that could have like a red flag. Try to make sure that your solution will avoid any impact on the communities. Instead that will benefit and will increase all the benefits itself on the society. And then they are sustainable. Like I always give the same example to my students, but it's not, you can build something, you can have the best machine to do something here in Sydney, and you have the resources, you will be able to if something damages, you can replace that easily. If you bring these expensive and wonderful machine to some of the islands which do not have the resources, who are really remote, and just giving something there will take a week, maybe not be the best solution. So simple doesn't mean wrong. Simple may be better if it's more useful and will have more impact. So I think just keep these two words in mind: appropriate and sustainable. Remember also that we are looking for innovation. So there is no wrong idea. There is no silly idea. Put all your ideas at the beginning, put everything on the table, and you will start refining, but just don't cut from the beginning. Put everything and then start refining what will be more appropriate, more sustainable, more innovative. And I think the other thing I have is make sure that the video is attractive. Of course, you cannot spend all the time making the video. You need to have a good idea that fills all the requirements, but everything comes on the, the judging part will come also on what you see and what you will get more attracted to. So try to think in ways that you can really capture that attention, because it's important as well.
Yes, that's a good point. That the entries are judged 100% on that 5-minute video. There's no supporting documentation. There's no thesis. There's no references. Our judges just watch the 5-minute video and then they make an assessment and they move on. So presentation is important. It's I wouldn't say it's key, but it's definitely, it does help. So particularly in terms of memorableness, our judges like to watch the videos 2 or 3 times and go back to some, and often remark on the production quality of some of the videos, and really marvel at how some of our students are able to create what they create inside a day and a half. I personally am just amazed the last couple of years at the videos that are coming out. Even just the Friday night TikTok challenge. It just comes up so quick. But thank you so much, Dr. Montano, for your thoughts. Hopefully we'll see you at this year's hackathon. And I'd like to move on to our Q&A section now. Before we get into the Q&A section, I noticed our Warren Centre Humanitarian Hub Chairman Dick Kell has managed to join us. Hello, Dick. How are you?
Hello, John.
Just wanted to welcome you to this afternoon's hackathon. Did you have anything you wanted to say about the Humanitarian Engineering Hub before we move to the questions?
No, I think it's been a very good coverage and has given us some excellent information, and I encourage undergraduate students to take up the challenge. The challenges, of course, will be set by Professor Thomas and some colleagues that she has. Keep in mind what humanitarian engineering is. It's the application of engineering to advance human development in marginalised and countries and amongst marginalised societies, and to react and respond to disasters that occur, and which are only too frequent in the Pacific with changing climate. So I wish all students well. The our winning team last year all knew each other from their background, but the winning teams in the previous years have been made up by from undergraduates from a range of universities, and they've worked quite successfully as well. So, and that gives you the opportunity to meet with and work with students from other universities, so you make friends for life, in effect, from the experience. So, John, I'll leave it there and wish all those who participate this year every success.
Thanks, Dick. I appreciate it. We'll quickly jump into these Q&As. We've got a couple here. First one from Spike. Anyway. Okay, turns out I can't answer these live. That's always good.
Yeah.
Normally I can answer these live, but turns out I have to type an answer to these questions. All right, well, we'll get to this in a moment. Spike's asking, are you looking for information savvy volunteers to help out? Yes, Spike, we are. We're always taking on expressions of interests for students and for mentors. We have a hackathon information website, which I'm linking in chat now. This is your one-stop shop for everything hackathon from now until the end of time. And there will be ways to contact us. We'll be putting information through here as we go. Once you're on our mailing list, we'll keep you up to date. We might even start SMSing you closer to the time. But we're taking applications for mentors. You don't need to be involved on Friday night. The mentor timing is from about midday Saturday through till about 3 p.m. Sunday. And same as I said for the students, we do go home at the end of the day. You don't have to stay overnight. You do get to sleep. And so somehow I'm just going.
Can I just add quickly here? So on the website at the moment, we have an evolution of information. So this is basically the starting gate of what happens on the landing page. But if you look back at it every week, there's more stuff on there, rules, eligibility things. At the moment, the sign up is for participants, but we're launching the mentor sign up in the coming week. So just stay across that. If you want to be part of the sort of working bees, then yeah, feel free to just jump back onto the landing page. We also announce these things in our mailing list, as John has said. So feel free to come onto the page as well, and you can sign up for the mailing list on here as
well. Okay, so Nayab Safraz, hello, Nayab, has asked, are there any resources given to prepare for the hackathon? Same answer as for the mentor application. Everything will be on the hackathon website. In terms of resources to prepare, as we've said, you don't really need to have a background in humanitarian engineering to be a part of this. The resources are more about learning about what's going to happen over the weekend, showing up ready to pitch ideas and think outside the box and create solutions to challenges. And I might as well answer the next question as well at the same time from Rami, who's asked, will the topics be given or will we have to create our own topics? Now, our challenge writer, Professor Thomas, will be revealing the challenges. We usually have 3 on the Friday of the hackathon. We theme our challenges around the United Nations Strategic Development Goals. So if you want to go and have a look at them, you're welcome to go and have a look at them. It's very broad-ranging, the strategic development goals, things like zero hunger, water, health, farming, quality of life, gender equality, things like that. And we generally try to make sure that we require that our solutions, when they're presented, at least align with at least one UN SDG. We prefer more. That's about as much resources as you really need. We also, on the day, during the weekend, the teams, you can submit, you can join solo, or you can join with the pre-organized team. If you join solo, we'll put you in a team, and you will have access to a team mentor, and of course, myself and Clara and Melanie and Dick will be around to Neil, Mohammed, will be around to answer questions. Anonymous asks, are there any sorry, hang on, back to this. Any specific Pacific universities eligible for the hackathon? Yes, specifically all of them. Unless there's a Pacific university we don't know about. A couple of years ago, we opened applications to all currently enrolled undergraduate students in Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific Island region. So stretching from Papua New Guinea all the way out to Samoa and everything in between. If there's a University of Easter Island, they're eligible too. I don't think there is.
No, John. There are 2 universities with engineering faculties in the Pacific: the University of South Pacific in Fiji and Unitec in PNG, and both of them are on board, as are the universities in New Zealand.
Yes,
and in fact, there were one of the prize winners last year was New Zealand, I think, the University of Canterbury.
Yes.
So
our second place side was from the University of Canterbury. Hayden Ratabakau asks, thanks for your question, Hayden. Put it in the answered column. Is a physical product needed as a solution? And if so, is a 3D software model enough, or will we have to construct and present a physical model? No physical prototypes are required for this competition. You are judged purely on your 5-minute video. If you want to put a 3D model in your 5-minute video, you're welcome to. You would have noticed that the winning entry from last year, Sid Gong's, they put up a visualization of their tap device. But it's entirely up to you. But there is nothing required to be submitted other than that 5-minute video. So you don't need to make anything physical. If you want to make something physical as a prototype and film yourself using it to show how it works, you're welcome to do so. Mel, do you have any thoughts on that particular question?
I think you're on mute, Mel.
Oh, there we go.
No, nothing more to add, really.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Melanie was also a wonderful mentor over the weekend that I might not have highlighted at the start of the hackathon. She also showed up and went above and beyond to help a lot of students who we had so many more students than we anticipated last year. And this year, we're going to make sure we're ready for everyone. Otherwise, we've got one more question. We've probably got a few more minutes. We can get around to this. Boom Jun Kim, hello. Is there an application deadline for the hackathon? Basically, the day before. There'll be a process of putting in a registration, and then we will submit teams. If you have a pre-arranged team you'd like to organize, we'll let you know when we're taking applications for that. But ultimately, if it's 2 or 3 days beforehand and you decide you want to be a part of the hackathon, there will be a way for you to register, and we will make room for you. The only really time it'd be too late is probably after we start. So I hope that's okay. Is it possible to view past year's hackathon submissions? Yes, everything is on the Hackathon Engineering website. Down the bottom, we have all the past winners as is being displayed now. And they have videos, and as you can see, we've got 2023, 2022, 2021. So if you want to get an idea of what past hackathon submissions, the successful ones have looked like, look no further. And lastly, we have a question. Is there any financial assistance provided to teams from the South Pacific Island countries to participate in the hackathon? And if not, is there any option to have teams participate remotely? Well, there's not any funding in particular organised at the moment for that, but this hackathon is not just held at the University of Sydney. This hackathon is held also online. In some years, during the lockdown years, we were entirely online, and now we offer students a chance to either do it remotely via Zoom and communication through Slack, which is our communications portal, or to come in person to the City Knowledge Hub over the weekend and work in person with your teammates. So, yeah, when we say we're open to everywhere in Australia and New Zealand and the South Pacific Island region, we're not asking anyone to travel to Sydney for this event. If you've got a computer, if you've got a laptop, if you're watching this right now, you can be a part of this. From anywhere, you have access to be able to talk to teammates. Okay, that's pretty much, we've got the same question. Can you join during the weekend if you're not physically in Australia? Yes, in fact, we encourage it. I think last year we had about 200 plus students as part of our hackathon, and about half of them were online from all around the country and the region, and half of them were in person.
I think, John, it's notable that they were from 27 universities, which is an indication of the spread from Western Australia across to Suva in Fiji, and from north and south. So by all means, most are join online. So you please do that.
Yep. So there's hopefully we've okay, we got one more question. If you were going in solo, is there a way to get allocated other solos to form a team? Yes, we will take, you can apply as an individual or you can apply as a team. We'll have all that available on the website. Registrations we're taking expression of interest now, and proper registrations will open in May after the Easter break, and in April. And there'll be ways for everyone. If you want to join on your own, if you want to join with friends, we'll figure it all out. It's very easy for anyone to join from any background, and we welcome all applications from current undergraduate enrolled students. That's the only real limit we have on this. Otherwise, I think we'll wrap up that Q&A section there, and I'll hand it over to Mel for the next section, if that's okay. Thanks, Mel.
Sure. So thank you all for joining today's Hackathon Information Seminar. We hope you've gained a deeper insight into humanitarian engineering and how exciting and challenging the 2025 Hackathon is shaping up to be. Hopefully, Liam didn't scare you there. A special thank you to our speakers for sharing their experiences and inspiring us all. Awesome work. So if you're ready to be a part of this incredible event on the 18th to the 20th of July, remember to visit that website. It's in the chat. Take a look at the info there. Reminder, we'd love your expression of interest so we can keep you up to date. And we can't wait to see you in about 122 days' time. I just asked Google so we can witness the game-changing ideas you'll hack for good. Also, a quick mention for Dick. If you'd like to be a member of the HE Hub, the Humanitarian Engineering Hub at the Warren Centre, can we share a link to that, Clara?
It's in chat now.
In the chat, good. And the next event, Dick, is on the 15th of May, I believe.
Correct. Yes. Thanks for that, Mel. And the next webinar will be on the effective engagement of local resources, that is local engineers and contractors on development projects in the Pacific Islands, based on the premise that projects are far more effective if they engage the local communities. So we'll be looking at that, and one of the contributions will be a summary of the pipeline projects coming up in the Pacific Island countries. So it should be a most rewarding webinar on the 15th of May. Thanks, Mel.
Sounds super awesome. Thanks, Dick. All right, so we'll see you at the Humanitarian Innovation Hackathon in 122 days. So thank you.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you, everyone. Does anyone else have anything they want to add before we go? Because why not?
No.
If you've got any other questions, you can reach us through the Hack Engineering website. or you can track down myself or Clara. We're happy to answer your questions. Otherwise, we will be in touch, and we really look forward to seeing all of you in July for the hackathon, and then hopefully many of you for the winners announcement in August. Otherwise, thanks very much, everybody, and have a great afternoon.